Oke, semua.
Itu presenting ya?
Kita ada presentasi. Indonesia telah menjadi negara dengan pertumbuhan ekonomi digital yang paling cepat di Asia Tenggara. Dan Indonesia sekarang juga sudah memiliki beberapa unicorn-unicorn yang hebat sekali.
Talenta di bidang machine learning akan terus dibutuhkan untuk kemajuan industri.
Untuk membantu kami dan perusahaan lainnya di Indonesia menghadirkan produk dan teknologi abad ke-21 kepada semua orang.
Bersama-sama kita dapat menjadikan Indonesia sebagai pelopor teknologi untuk mendorong perkembangan seluruh masyarakat Indonesia, Asia Tenggara, maupun dunia.
Bangkit is a program that was designed in collaboration with Indonesia's 4 unicorns, Gojek, Tokopedia, Traveloka, Bukalapak, and Google, as well as input from government and universities. We selected 300 individuals from over 2,500 completed applications, and they're going to be learning content from machine learning to soft skill development, including how to communicate and collaborate better, how to work in the style and environment of global tech companies.
What Bangkit means to me is to actually find a turning point in my life, to overcome my fear, overcome my weakness, and take actions to change my life into a better one.
We want to level up, and not only ourselves, but we also level up our countries, Indonesia. Rise up, rise up, rise up.
Bangkit! Kami sangat tidak sabar untuk melihat kontribusi lulusan Bangkit terhadap dunia teknologi di Indonesia. Entah di bidang perdagangan, kesehatan, pendidikan, keuangan, travel, transportasi, dan sebagainya. Meskipun masih banyak tantangan besar yang masih harus diatasi di abad ke-21 ini, kami sangat bersemangat untuk melihat para praktisi machine learning yang luar biasa ini mendapatkan kesempatan untuk bergabung dengan para profesional teknologi lainnya dan juga memberikan solusi untuk seluruh Indonesia dan dunia. Mari kita bangkit dan maju sama-sama.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, selamat datang di acara pembukaan Bangkit 2021. Disiarkan secara langsung dari YouTube Google Indonesia, Kemdikbud, dan juga Dikti. Saya Mutiara Arumsari dari tim Bangkit Google Indonesia. Kita tidak sendiri, karena bersama kita pada pagi hari ini telah menyaksikan pula Bapak Profesor Dr. Nizam selaku Dirjen Dikti Kemdikbud RI dan Ibu Dr. Faris Tiani Nurwardani selaku Sesdikjen Dikti, para mitra industri, mitra universitas, media, dan utamanya adalah Anda, 3.000 peserta terpilih Bangkit tahun ini yang sangat kami banggakan. Indonesia membutuhkan 600.000 talenta digital setiap tahunnya. Di saat yang sama, industri juga semakin membutuhkan talenta ahli berkaliber tinggi. Namun sayangnya itu sulit terpenuhi. Oleh karena itu, Google bekerja sama dengan Gojek, Tokopedia, dan Traveloka meluncurkan Bangkit. Program ini telah melahirkan 219 lulusan ahli machine learning yang kini berkarir di banyak bidang. Mengulang sukses tersebut, kini Bangkit hadir dengan skala 10 kali lebih besar. Jika sebelumnya kami melatih 300 peserta. Kini, atas dukungan solid dari Kementerian Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan Republik Indonesia, 3.000 peserta telah lolos seleksi dan akan mengikuti Bangkit sebagai program Kampus Merdeka. Dulu 1, kini 3 alur belajar teknis yang kami tawarkan. Berikut pembekalan keterampilan untuk karier. Dari 70, berkembang menjadi 376 instruktur ahli berpengalaman dari industri dan universitas akan melatih Anda, para peserta. Inilah sebagian dimensi menarik dari Bangkit 2021. Selama 50 menit ke depan, mari kita mengeksplorasi program Bangkit tahun ini. Kami menghadirkan para pembicara ahli dari Kemdikbud, Google, Gojek, dan Traveloka. Untuk yang pertama, mari kita sambut sosok yang begitu suportif pada Bangkit. Beliau adalah Direktur Jenderal Pendidikan Tinggi Kementerian Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan Republik Indonesia, Bapak Profesor Dr. Nizam. Kepada beliau, kami persilahkan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Mbak Ara. Very good morning to all of you. Selamat pagi, salam sehat, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Berbahagia sekali pagi ini bisa bertemu dengan adik-adik mahasiswa yang saya cintai dan banggakan. Juga bersama kita nanti ada Pak William Florence dari Program Lead, Education Program Lead dari Google, Bangkit. Serta juga Pak Rani Yusuf, Managing Director Google Indonesia, serta para mitra founding partners dari Bangkit. Ada Bu Monica dari Yayasan Anak Bangsa Bisa dari Gojek, kemudian juga ada Pak Alfa Edison dari Tokopedia, dan Pak Albert dari Traveloka. Serta yang kita banggakan para coach, para mentor yang akan mendampingi adik-adik sekalian di dalam program Bangkit 2021. Adik-adik mahasiswa yang saya cintai dan banggakan, saat ini kita sudah berada di masa depan. Jadi masa depan sudah hadir saat ini bersama kita dengan sistem cerdas, dengan berbagai kemajuan. Sekarang mobil tidak perlu lagi menggunakan sopir. Juga perjalanan menuju Mars juga sudah dimulai oleh Elon Musk, dan kota-kota cerdas mulai muncul di mana-mana, kantor cerdas, rumah cerdas, dan untuk itu kita semua juga harus cerdas dengan membangun kompetensi dari adik-adik sekalian untuk menjadi para digital leaders, para artificial intelligence leaders, para machine learning leaders di Indonesia dan di Asia Tenggara. Saat ini kalau kita melihat di dunia ini terdisrupsi oleh kemajuan artificial intelligence dan berbagai macam teknologi yang berkembang dengan sangat pesat, teknologi digital yang berkembang sangat pesat, maka dalam tahun-tahun ke depan, nanti ketika adik-adik sekalian lulus dari perguruan tinggi, itu tentu dunia yang akan adik-adik sekalian masuki, hadapi adalah dunia baru yang sangat berbeda dengan apa yang ada hari ini. Oleh karena itu kita semua harus menyiapkan diri untuk mempunyai kompetensi-kompetensi yang memang fit, memang sesuai dengan kebutuhan di masa depan tersebut. Sekarang ini kita melihat lahirnya unicorn, dekakorn di Asia Tenggara, di dunia secara keseluruhan, tapi di Asia Tenggara pada khususnya. Itu kita lihat dari 10 unicorn, dekakorn yang lahir di Asia Tenggara, itu 5 diantaranya, jadi separuh itu lahir dari Indonesia. Lahir dan tumbuh besar dari Indonesia. Ini menunjukkan bahwa para milenial ini sangat luar biasa sekali dengan kreativitas, dengan inovasi, dan dilandasi dengan kompetensi, dengan kemampuan di bidang teknologi, terutama teknologi digital, artificial intelligence khususnya, itu bisa melahirkan perusahaan-perusahaan unicorn bahkan dekakorn seperti Gojek yang sekarang sudah menjadi dekakorn Asia Tenggara, Tokopedia yang nilai valuasi pasarnya sekarang sudah di atas 7 miliar US dollar, kemudian juga ada Traveloka, ada OVO, ada Bukalapak, dan ratusan lagi startup baru berbasis teknologi, berbasis digital yang lahir dari Indonesia. Nah, ini tentu harus terus kita akselerasi, kita dorong untuk bisa lebih banyak lagi lahir startup digital dari tanah air, berbasis teknologi dan berbasis kreativitas inovasi dari perguruan tinggi. Menurut kajian dari banyak pihak, salah satu yang terakhir kemarin dari Kearney Analysis, itu dalam 10 tahun ke depan, potensi dari penggunaan artificial intelligence, teknologi digital di Asia Tenggara, terutama di Indonesia, itu mampu untuk berpeluang untuk menghasilkan nilai ekonomi baru senilai 360 miliar US dollar, di satu nilai yang sangat besar, hampir 5.000 triliun rupiah. Itu potensi yang bisa lahir dari ekonomi digital berbasis artificial intelligence di Indonesia saja. Dan itu lebih dari 50% dari potensi pertumbuhan ekonomi digital, ekonomi berbasis AI di Asia Tenggara. Nah, di antara yang nanti akan melahirkan ekonomi baru itu adalah adik-adik sekalian yang saat ini akan mengikuti program Bangkit 2021. Oleh karena itu, semangat untuk adik-adik sekalian belajar dan mengasah diri, mengembleng diri dengan program ini. Di dalam program ini tidak hanya dilatih tentang machine learning, tentang cloud computing, tentang UI, UX, dan sebagainya. Adik-adik juga akan didampingi oleh para coach untuk mengembangkan karir adik-adik sekalian. Di ujung program, nanti bagi mereka yang sukses, yang para peserta terbaik, nanti akan mendapatkan pelatihan dari Stanford University melalui program khusus yang kita siapkan dengan Stanford University di 15 perguruan tinggi kita. Nanti bagi yang sangat baik, tentu akan berkesempatan untuk belajar di Stanford University juga. Jadi silakan adik-adik sekalian menyiapkan diri dengan optimal, dengan maksimal, sehingga nanti bisa menghasilkan masa depan yang lebih baik lagi, berbasis teknologi, berbasis kemampuan yang sangat dibutuhkan saat ini. Kalau di tahun 2020 peserta pendaftarnya ada 2.500 dan dipilih 300 diantaranya yang menyelesaikan program. Kali ini kita skill up, kita perluas karena dampaknya sangat bagus, sehingga dari 40 ribuan pendaftar sudah terpilih 3.000 mahasiswa yang mengikuti program ini. Saya ucapkan selamat pada seluruh mahasiswa yang terpilih mengikuti program ini. Jangan sia-siakan kesempatan ini, peluang ini, dan jangan tanggung. Adik-adik sekalian harus tuntas nanti sampai mendapatkan sertifikat. Untuk biaya sertifikat nanti akan kita biayai, kita bayar, dengan catatan adik-adik serius di dalam mengikuti program ini. Dan sertifikat itu tentu bukan sertifikatnya yang penting, tapi kompetensi yang adik-adik peroleh selama mengikuti program ini. Nah, untuk sertifikasi tentu nanti ada ujian dan sebagainya. Siapkan dengan baik sehingga kalian bisa menjadi talenta-talenta qualified, menjadi profesional-profesional di bidang machine learning, cloud computing, dan programming, serta user interface, user experience analis dan programmer. Saya ucapkan terima kasih pada Pak William dan kawan-kawan yang telah menyiapkan program ini, juga teman-teman dari 15 perguruan tinggi yang tergabung di dalam konsorsium ini. Semoga program ini bisa mengakselerasi lahirnya talenta-talenta dan pemimpin-pemimpin digital di Indonesia untuk membangun ekonomi digital yang lebih maju, lebih terakselerasi ke depan. Sukses selalu semuanya, jaga kesehatan, tetap semangat, dan optimis untuk Indonesia jaya. Terima kasih Mbak Ara, waktu saya kembalikan. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Pak Nidam atas sambutan dan dukungan kepada kami selama ini. Kami bangga bahwa pada tahun ini Bangkit menjadi bagian dari program Kampus Merdeka. Semoga tadi harapan yang Bapak sampaikan dalam mencetak talenta digital yang mengakselerasi Indonesia dan transformasi digitalnya akan terwujud, salah satunya lewat Bangkit. Dan untuk yang berikutnya, Kita akan mendengarkan tentang seperti apa sih program Bangkit 2021 ini. Juga ada sesi diskusi yang akan dipandu langsung oleh Asia Pacific Education Program Lead, William Florence. Ada Bapak William, kami silakan.
Selamat pagi. Hello, everybody. It's really wonderful to be joining you. And thank you, Pak Nizam, for that opening. Thank you indeed for all of your support throughout the entire design of Bangkit 2021. I'm joining everybody here this morning from Zurich, Switzerland, where it's just after 4 o'clock in the morning. So it's dark outside and cold outside still. But if 2020 showed us anything, it was how important it is to be resilient and have agility and be innovative. We ran the program last year entirely online. And as much as I would like to be joining you here in person in Indonesia, I'm having to join you from Switzerland. But we'll persevere and we'll make this work. So I'm really, really proud to be opening up Bangkit 2021 today. This journey actually started 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, we sat in a room in Google. Back when we used to sit in offices, we sat in a room in Google with our founding partners, with a few representatives from universities and a few representatives from government. And we set out to come up with a shared mission to address what we perceive to be the employment gap in Indonesia, which is that leading technology companies are finding it difficult to identify and recruit top-tier talent for their companies to be able to thrive and make Indonesia the economic powerhouse that it wants to be with regards to technology. And we came up with a shared vision. And the shared vision is to provide a structured, high-quality learning program for high-caliber graduates to be able to join world-class technology companies. We would focus on select talented individuals from all over Indonesia, representing the diversity of Indonesia, and we would make available to them a set of curated resources and content and mentors so that they could help improve Indonesia's ecosystem and become the economic powerhouse with regards to technology that it wants to be in the Southeast Asia region. And here's the result for a little bit later, sorry, Google is listening to me on my phone. A little bit later, that same year in 2019, we announced the first Bangkit on stage at Google for Indonesia, where we had the Minister of Education present, as well as our partner representatives. It was meant to be a pilot, and it was indeed a pilot with 300 participants, but it got so much coverage on the media that I ended up I ended up spending the first 3 months of last year living in Jakarta to make sure that the program could go as planned. Unfortunately, I then had to return to Zurich due to the complications with COVID. But we launched it as a pilot program, and I'm happy to say that we felt like it was very successful. We had only 300 participants in the program, but that was 1 out of every 10 applicants that we had. So we accepted only 10% of the people that applied to the program. And the first ever Bangkit graduates overwhelmingly told us that as a result of completing the program, their employment prospects were measurably improved. We had, as I mentioned, nearly 3,000 applicants. We selected 300 people. They studied only one learning path. We had a machine learning path. They studied both online and offline. The design originally was that we were going to have workshop meetings on the weekend. We ended up having to cancel those after the first in-person workshop, and we moved all of those online. We invited them to attend those workshops and be trained by people not only from the Bangkit team itself, but from industry volunteers, which is a key part of the program. The students were super enthusiastic about the entire program, and especially the soft skills that they gained from the program they felt were extremely valuable. In the end, 219 people completed the program, which is a 73% completion rate, which particularly under the circumstances of COVID, we think is pretty outstanding. In fact, it's substantially higher completion rate than we normally see for these types of programs. We're especially proud that we had 26% of the cohort as females. 26% of them were young women. Last year in the pilot, we had not only students, but we also had working professionals. At the end of the program, we held a virtual career fair for all of the graduates, all 219 of the graduates. And within just a few weeks of the completion of the program, 41 of the graduates had already obtained employment or internships, they said directly as a result of the program. So we felt it was important to continue with the program, and I'll come back to that. So I'd like to just feature a couple of the graduates for a moment, if I could. On the screen, you can see two of them. On the left is Iqbal from East Java. And Iqbal was so passionate about artificial intelligence that upon completing his program, upon completing the Bangkit program, he felt confident enough to pursue a job. And he now works in the poultry industry. And you may think, what does the poultry industry have to do with artificial intelligence and machine learning? Well, in the poultry industry, disease is a major issue in chicken farms. And Iqbal's job is essentially to apply artificial intelligence in the early detection of the avian influenza and other poultry diseases so farmers can mitigate the risk and earn a better living. Fascinating impact that Iqbal is having just really less than a year after completing the Bangkit program. And from our female participants, we have Tia. And Tia used to have absolutely no understanding of Python programming or machine learning whatsoever. Through Bangkit, she was able to transform herself into a TensorFlow certified professional developer. And this mother of two is now the curriculum developer at Decoding, one of our prime partners with regards to developer training in Indonesia at large, but it also helping with the Bangkit program. And what I'm so impressed by is that she has now the confidence, so much confidence in the subject that not only is she working at Decoding, but this year she's going to be an instructor in the Bangkit program as well. So from student to instructor in only 1 year. And now if we could just share the video of the next participant, I'd like to give you a sense of the type of graduate that we're trying to produce with the Bangkit program. And I think I'll just pass it over to you to stream the video, please. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jessica, and I am one of the Bangkit 2020 graduates. Congratulations to all of you who have been chosen for this program. Just like most people, and I believe all of you, I joined Bangkit to learn technical skills that you couldn't acquire in university. But later on, what left me the greatest impressions are the soft skill sessions. Bangkit taught me attitudes to grow through challenges, to communicate better, to manage myself better, everything you need to survive in multi-scale companies. And that's how I got accepted in Tokopedia since 2020. You might feel both eager yet nervous to learn through this program. But just like what Tokopedia often said, mulai aja dulu. Just make it happen. Even if you make mistakes, there will always be a chance for you to make it better. Good luck everyone, you deserve this.
Just make it happen. I love that phrase, actually. It's really, really gratifying to see how graduates from the program are able to apply their learnings immediately and make a difference in their own lives as well as within companies in Indonesia and hopefully in the aggregate in Indonesia's tech ecosystem. And even before we started the pilot of Bangkit in 2020, we were challenged by Minister Nadiem Makarim to make the program bigger and even more inclusive. In fact, I think on the stage that day, he suggested that we should have 300,000 people, not just 300. Well, we don't have 300,000 people, But today, I'm proud to say that we have scaled the program and we have 10 times as many people as we did last year. We have 3,000 people who have joined Bangkit from all over Indonesia. In true fact, the real number is 3,001, but you'll have to ask me later how we ended up with 3,001. I'm not sure I know the answer myself. But we're really, really excited to have 3,000 participants joining in Bangkit. Let me tell you a little bit about how we got to 3,000. So it was a long process to arrive at the 3,001 participants. From the very beginning, from when we announced it at our online Google for Indonesia event this year, we started receiving registrations of interest. And in total, we ended up just under 40,000 people who registered interest in applying for Bangkit. And as you know, we're doing it as part of Kampus Merdeka. So there are some prerequisites to be able to join a Kampus Merdeka program. So from the 40,000, we ended up with about 29,000 who actually submitted applications through the application process. And of those 29,000, 17,000 met the eligibility requirements for Kampus Merdeka. And we went then and selected the 3,000 participants from those 17,000. Now, the 17,000 people had to submit to a series of assessments, including assessments on programming and math skills and even personality tests. And what we did is we chose the 3,000 people that we felt were best equipped, best prepared to be able to benefit from what will be a very rigorous program over the next 18 or 19 weeks. And part of that was to ensure that we had the right people in the right learning paths, because this year we have 3 different learning paths. So congratulations to each and every one of you 3,001 who are our selected participants this year. We're really excited to mark day 1 of the journey in Bangkit, and we hope that you're as excited as we are. Now, I mentioned that we have a diverse portfolio or a diverse cohort in Bangkit, and that was always the design from the very beginning. Well, this year, we're particularly excited to be part of Kampus Merdeka, and through those applicants, we managed to have participants from 250 universities from all over Indonesia, which is remarkable. I think that might be a first for Google to have a program of this nature where we draw participants from so many different universities across any given country. Only half of those participants are joining from top tier cities. So we have representatives from the full economic spectrum, I would say, across Indonesia. And fully 30% of them are young women this year, which surpasses that incredible number that we had last year of even 26%. Now, I say incredible number, and you may be saying, well, why aren't 50% of them young women? We would really love to have 50% of the participants be women. But even 26% was twice as many as we typically see in training programs. So 30% is quite an achievement for us to be able to include that many females in the program. And we're quite excited about that this year. We know that they're going to perform as well as everybody else in the program, by the way. We saw no difference in terms of completion rates or successful completion rates in the program and the pilot between women versus men. So congratulations once again to all 3,000 participants. So just a little bit more about the cohort. They come from 32 different provinces, 460 cities in total, and 70% of them, in fact, are from outside Tier 1 cities. I already mentioned that they come from 20 or 250 different universities, but equally interesting, not all of them come from IT or computer science backgrounds. In fact, 29% of them do not come from IT or computer science backgrounds. So really important to have diversity, because there's nothing about these subjects that can't be taken up and learned and absorbed by anybody with the passion and dedication to be able to pursue these subjects. So the cohort is complete and the cohort is diverse, and all that remains is for us to now shepherd them through the next 18 weeks and have a successful Bangkit. Like last year, we're joined this year by our founding technology partners, Gojek, Tokopedia, Traveloka, and this year we're also partnering with Deep Tech. Now, Deep Tech is a non-for-profit that works with a number of technology companies around Indonesia with a mission of trying to raise the level of technology companies and to raise the quality and standard of tech industry in Indonesia at large. And they work with a diaspora of Indonesian leaders that work in these companies. So we have, quite a diverse range of companies represented within our volunteer network in Indonesia, and I'll come to that in a minute. But this year, as we're part of Kampus Merdeka, which we're very excited about, we've also partnered with 15 universities. So we have students from 250 universities, but we're partnering closely with only 15 of those universities. And I like to call them our university host partners, as they are hosting the 3,000 cohort virtually through Bangkit on their campuses, if you will. Now, about half of the participants come from or are studying currently in those 15 universities, and the other half are coming from the other range of 250 universities. This year also, we're introducing a new element to the program. And in support of the minister's ambition to create a more innovative university education system, we're really pleased and excited to be introducing the University Innovation Fellows Program to Indonesia under the Bangkit umbrella. The University Innovation Fellows Program is a program run by Stanford University's Design School in the Bay Area in California, which aims to empower students to become agents of change at their schools. Now, fellows are a global community leading a movement to ensure that all students gain the attitudes, skills, and knowledge required to navigate a complex world. And the student leaders from schools around the world create opportunities to help their peers build the creative confidence, agency, and entrepreneurial mindset needed to address global challenges and to build a better future. Fellows will be nominated to become part of the UIF program through Bangkit. So students who are participating in Bangkit and who complete the Bangkit program will be eligible to be considered and will be nominated. Some of them, a very small number of them, will be nominated to become University Innovation Fellows. The decision as to who becomes a University Innovation Fellows is Stanford's, not ours. But what we're going to do is we're going to have each of our host partner universities host up to 4 fellows. So by the end of 2021, as a result of our nomination process, we should have 60 fellows from all over Indonesia joining this University Innovation Fellows community and poised to make innovative contributions on their campuses throughout Indonesia. So we're really excited about this, and it's something to keep an eye on over the long haul. I touched a minute ago on our volunteers, and let me give you a little bit more perspective on this because this is a very important element of Bangkit. Bangkit is meant to provide our students with a unique opportunity to gain insights and perspectives from real-world practitioners and subject matter experts working in industry today. That's not to take anything away from faculty at universities, but we know how difficult it is to stay abreast of methodologies and techniques being used by leading technology companies. And we feel it's important to give students that firsthand perspective of what it's like to work in a company like Gojek or Tokopedia or Traveloka or Google or one of the many others from which we have volunteers this year. So whereas we had 70 volunteers from about 8 countries last year supporting 300 students, the challenge this year was much bigger. We have about 376 volunteers so far. I'm sure we'll have more, from 24 different countries, representing 22 different institutions. And they'll be supporting the 3,000 students through their online journey. Now, about 68% of those volunteers come from industry. They come from either the founding companies. About a third of our volunteers are coming from our founding companies. About a third of them are coming from other technology and related institutions within the technology ecosystem. And about a third of them are coming from university, where we have university supervisors and instructors who have volunteered to support our learners as well. So this is no small undertaking, you can imagine, to even identify these volunteers and never mind coordinate them to ensure that we provide access to the students, to the volunteers throughout the 18 or 19 weeks. But we're up for the challenge, and we're quite excited about the challenge. And we hope that it makes the difference that we believe that it will make for the students. So it's my pleasure now to give you a sense of the type of volunteers that we have. So if we could go to the next slide, please. Yes, so just to give you a sense, and I think this is representative. Left to right, we have Prof. Ayu from ITB, who's an associate professor at the university with more than 20 years of teaching experience. We have Aldi Farezi, who's a senior engineer at Google, actually an Indonesian who at present, I think, is living in Singapore, but when I last spoke with him, he was supposed to be relocating to Seattle. I'm not sure what's happening with regards to his transfer in the middle of COVID, but he's an example of a graduate from a university in Indonesia who's gone on to have so far a very successful career in technology, and he'll be sharing his experiences with our students. We have volunteers like Sharmili Roy from Tokopedia, who designs data-driven solutions for Tokopedia. And she has a PhD in computer vision and machine learning. A number of our volunteers have PhDs, as a matter of fact, not an uncommon attribute for our volunteers. And then we have a software engineer like Duke Hugh, who actually is based in Zurich in the same office that I'm based in. But there's, I think, about 4,000 Googlers in the Zurich office now. And to be honest with you, because of COVID, I haven't been in the Google office for more than a year now. So I'm afraid I've not met Duke yet. But Duke has worked on large-scale machine learning systems, as we do at Google, specifically on YouTube, and he works with computer vision models in Google AI. To be sure, not all of our volunteers, come with PhDs and come with a depth of experience such as what we see in the 4 on this screen, but they are representative of the types of volunteers that we have throughout the program. And as I mentioned, we have about 376 of those, which is a fantastic opportunity for all of our participants to gain firsthand experience from our network of volunteers. So very, very excited about that. Now, I'm going to shift gears a little bit, and I'd like to maybe bring in our partner representatives. So joining us today, I'm very excited and very pleased to have Leon Alpha Edison, who is the vice chairman and co-founder of Tokopedia. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Leon. We have Monica Udang, who's the chairwoman now of, I was going to just use the acronym, YABB. I'm going to have a hard time getting that out. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that, Monica. I know that Monica was an early employee at Gojek, where she led HR at now Minister Nadim's request. So she probably has some perspectives on employability in tech for our participants. And we have Albert, who is the co-founder of Traveloka and has been a steady supporter of the program since the very beginning. So thank you for joining us, Albert. Your screen was blank there for a second. So thank you all. Again, I just want to take the opportunity to say this is a collaborative effort. Even though Google is leading it, our 4 companies collectively have been involved in the design and the delivery of this program from the beginning. So I want to thank you for that, continued participation and that continued commitment on behalf of your companies. But what I thought I would do is I thought maybe I would just put one question to each of you. And then if you'd like to make some additional comments, I think that would be wonderful as well. And I think maybe the first question I'll put to you, Monica, if that's okay. So as I mentioned, Gojek has been an integral part of this effort, way back from the beginning. But if you had to put it into your own words, in your perspective, what has been Gojek's main motivation for being involved with Bangkit?
So at Gojek, we strongly believe that technology has a role in transforming millions of the lives for the better. And, be it through our commitment to help remove life's daily friction for our consumer, to improving the livelihood for our driver partners and merchants, our North Star is always to create social impact. But we definitely don't see this as a byproduct in isolation. Instead, social impact is a value that can be driven end to end. And Bangkit as a program shares this aspiration. It is fully in line with our existing efforts so far, such as, at Gojek, we have Go Academy, we have BI University, we have Gojek Accelerate, and all of these programs have the purpose of nurturing and addressing tech talent shortage in Indonesia. We want to develop more game changers, innovators, and outside of the box thinkers who can make a difference for our nation. So I guess this is where I also introduce the role of Yayasan Anak Bangsa Bisa. The foundation is founded by Gojek, because this commitment will be further driven by YABB with a broader aim to develop sustainable communities by leveraging technology and innovation. And programs that aim to unleash potential while strengthening core values are key. Therefore, we're super excited, obviously, with this partnership to work together to contribute to the growth of the digital economy in Indonesia. So I think that's the primary motivation why we're involved in this program, William.
Great, thanks for sharing. And YABB, I read a little bit about it the other day. It seems like a very worthwhile initiative. So I look forward to exploring with you how Google can support it, or maybe how our Bangkit graduates can even support YABB. So congratulations on that initiative as well, which I understand you brought forward due to COVID. So
yes, thank you.
Yeah, great. Now maybe I'll put the next question to Leon. Now Bangkit, I wanted to say, is designed to be interdisciplinary, immersive, and industry-led. Now, I've alluded to this a little bit, but as we scale Bangkit from the pilot of only 300 participants, where we had 70 volunteers supporting 300 participants, and we now go to 3,000, what does it mean to you for Bangkit to be industry-led in 2021? Leon.
Yeah, hi, thank you, William, for having me and Tokopedia. I think, first of all, why we were excited, why it's meaningful for us. We often hear like talent shortage and everything, right? But to be honest, working with younger people are amazing. So I think they are young people, right? So they're fresh. So maybe a lot of more senior people than them probably know more context, have better knowledge, right? Have more knowledge. But to be honest, their brains, they are the one who can pick up everything very fast, right? So they are our next generation leaders. They are our next people that can drive changes in Indonesia, also in the world, right? So I think that's very amazing. So I think even though a lot of talent shortage and everything, so I think these are very excited. I believe that universities right now, I think they play a significant role in providing fundamentals, right? Fundamentals of, let's say, computer science, machine learning, coding, programming. But I think up until certain level, also these young, soon to be graduate students or early graduate students, they also need to talk with people that really do the real work, practitioners, right? gain insight as much as they can. So I think this is what Bangkit is all about. Tokopedia, we have our own initiative. We also go to university. We support them. We create a Start Summit, if you remember, last year, and then this year we will have another Start Summit. But this Bangkit really aligned with one of our dreams, which is developing digital talent in Indonesia. So we are doing it alone. It's good, but together, collaborate with Google, with Gojek, with Traveloka, with also the ministry and governments. I think the impact will be amazing, right? So we can see that the volunteers this year reach, I think, 376, right? And then the participants from 300 to 3,000. I think that's amazing, yeah. I think that's amazing. So I believe that if we can do it together, we can achieve amazing results.
Great. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. The key to this is going to be ensuring that our volunteers remain committed, which I have no doubt about, given the backing of your respective companies. And again, once again, thanks for your continued enthusiasm and participation. For sure, you know, all of our companies have numerous initiatives, and this is but one of the things that we're doing to try to empower the ecosystem in Indonesia. But super excited to have you be part of it. So Albert, I think the last question will be for you, but let me just kind of share a little bit of perspective for everybody, because we haven't really covered it yet. Of course, the participants know, but we have 3 different learning paths in the curriculum this year. Last year, we only did machine learning, but this year, students were able to choose from either a machine learning curriculum, an Android programming curriculum, or a cloud computing curriculum. And there's a common core of soft skill development that happens across all 3 of them. But we're also this year going to encourage students to pursue certifications, and there's a certification option available for each of those learning paths. My question to you, Albert, is how important is it in your mind for students to pursue certifications, whether it be TensorFlow or Android or Google Cloud Computing? What is the importance of certification in your mind?
It's a rigorous curriculum, to be sure. There are 3 solid certifications that will be awarded for students who not only successfully complete the Bangkit program, but also sit and pass their certifications or certification exams. Such as TensorFlow Professional Development, Professional Developer, Associate Android Developer, and Associate Cloud Engineer. I would say that most important that any certificate is an ability to demonstrate a firm grasp of the subject at hand. These certifications developed by Google are project-based and reflect real-world applications of knowledge rather than just the knowledge itself. Well, that is important, and we shouldn't overlook the importance of the career developments. Soft skills, as these are the hardest for us to come by and essential for a long-term success in a tech company such as ours.
That's great. Yeah. So the certifications have not been a big focus for us in the past, but I believe that this year, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how many of our students pursue the certifications at the end of the program, and it'll also be interesting to see if we establish those certifications as having employability relevance in Indonesia, but I believe we will. So does any of the 3 of you have any other further thoughts that you'd like to share on the reasons why you're supporting Bangkit, or maybe any words of motivation and encouragement for the participants?
Super excited for the program. I think from my side, I think this is a great beginning for all of us here to be transforming, especially the talent in Indonesia, because this also has been my passion from the beginning. Early on, I was discussing with Nadim how we can actually bridge this, and the fact that the program is actually coming to life, I think it's really exciting. I want to wish all the participants all the best of luck Again, I think the program is rigorous, but I think that you will learn a great deal out of this, and excited to see what the graduates will do in the future. So all the best of luck.
Thank you, Monica. Albert, Leon, anything to add?
Yeah, I think short last comment from me. I think once I have a discussion with my friends when I was in Silicon Valley, right? And then they share with me, like, actually a lot of, university graduates, even a lot of PhD, right? But they share with me for a sense saying that, I may have a PhD, but when you jump into a real world practice that you need to do, actually they suddenly feel that, wow, a lot of things to be learned, right? So I think this Bangkit is very great. The students will have direct access, right, with practitioners, how we do things. Not the happy flow, right? Not the happy things, but when things goes wrong, what can we do? When things go bad, when there are pressures and everything. So I think this will be very, very valuable, and we are very excited to share with them. I think just enjoy the program. We will do our best, and we hope also that participants will also do their best.
Thank you. Albert, you have to say something now.
Hi. Sorry for the bad internet connection. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hope you can. Just want to keep it short. I just hope that with this program, we can work together, like to bring technologies to real, to reality, and so that more people in this part of the world can witness how the technology can transform the day-to-day activities and their life, so that people can see technology in a more positive way. Thank you. That's all for me.
Terima kasih. Thank you to all three of you. Yes, I have to say that I am uncomfortably excited about Bangkit this year. Not only do we have 10 times the number of participants, but I'm going to have to manage this with help from a wonderful team, I might add, in Indonesia, but I'm going to have to try to manage this from Zurich in the middle of what continues to be a global pandemic. So it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but we're going to do our best for all of these 3,000 participants. I just want to maybe shift from the partners, and as great as these unicorns are in Indonesia, we'd like to see more unicorns in Indonesia. So I'm gonna now shift, and if you could put up the next slide for me, please. And I'm gonna say, as much as I love our partners, I want to see more unicorns in the future. And my hope is that Bangkit is going to be the impetus to generate the next round of competitors for our partners, and indeed for Google. So what do I mean by this? A key part of the Bangkit experience is the capstone project. Now, the capstone project will consume roughly about a third of the hours that each participant will have to invest into the Bangkit journey. And the way this is going to work is we'll take our 3,000 participants, and we're going to compose about 500 teams, project teams, composed of 2 people from each of the learning paths, so 6 people per team. Now, these teams will be focused on Indonesia challenges and opportunities that the government has determined are priorities for the Republic of Indonesia. And we're going to challenge the teams to come up with Indonesia-scale solutions to these opportunities and challenges. The process will be a process of elimination, but at the end, we will choose 15 of the 500 projects that will receive some funding, some incubation funding from Bangkit, and will be placed into the incubation project or the incubation unit of each of our host partner universities. So 1 team per university will be selected out of the 500 and will receive funding. I think there's a pretty good chance, given the talent that we're going to have in Bangkit, or that we do have in Bangkit, given the learning experience that they're going to have, and given just the sheer number of projects that we're going to be launching throughout the course of the next 18 weeks, I think there's a good chance that we're going to probably find one of the next unicorns, if not more, amongst these 500 projects. So I'm really, really excited about the project phase of Bangkit, and I hope that everybody else is as well. So maybe just a few closing remarks from me before we wrap it up, and I pass it back to Ada. This is a truly ambitious program. I want to again thank Minister Nadiem and Pak Nizam for their support and their encouragement for us to make this bigger and more impactful than it was as a pilot last year. Over the next 18 weeks, our participants will really be challenged with a full course load, right? You students that are in this program, you're going to have to apply yourselves. This is not going to be, as we say, a walk in the park. You're going to have online workshops. You're going to have a substantial number of in-person, real-time, synchronous, collaborative workshops that you have to do. You have a full online self-paced course load that you're going to have to complete with countless assignments. I don't know how many assignments there are this year, but last year there were 32 assignments, and this year the curriculum is substantially larger. And as I already mentioned, you're going to have this rather substantial final project that you're going to have to contribute to. So this is not for the faint-hearted, and I hope that you all are up to the task, and I'm sure that you are. Again, I'm extremely appreciative to all of our partners, because the impact of the program is wholly dependent on the volunteers from your respective organizations and from your own contributions. For the participants, for the students, congratulations to all 3,001 of you. Now go and make us all proud. Now, back to Ada for some closing comments, and thank you for your time. And I look forward to seeing and meeting as many of you as I can, albeit online. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih William, Ibu Monica, Bapak Leon, dan Bapak Albert. Kita telah menyimak bahwa Bangkit merupakan program kesiapan karir yang intensif, terkurasi, penuh waktu. Desain dan eksekusinya melibatkan para partner, termasuk dari Gojek, Tokopedia, dan Traveloka. Nah, tadi dalam remark akhirnya William sempat menyebutkan bahwa Bangkit is not for the faint-hearted. Bangkit bukan untuk kita yang mau berpangku tangan. Untuk Anda, para peserta Bangkit, dengan segenap dukungan kami dan para mitra, tentu lahir banyak harapan. Ini yang ada di layar, hanya sebagian di antaranya. Deborani dari USU Medan sangat antusias memulai machine learning. Kita juga punya Timotius dari Bandung yang bercerita bahwa tahun lalu sempat gagal, dan tahun ini baru mendapatkan alur belajar Android yang dia inginkan. Ada pula Muhammad Mufti dari Jogja yang berharap mendapat bekal karir untuk cloud computing. Apapun mimpi Anda, mau jadi talenta bersertifikasi dunia dari Google, mau bekerja di perusahaan unicorn, merintis startup, atau bahkan unicorn Anda sendiri, tentu Anda bisa. Syaratnya, iringi dengan usaha terbaik, Bangkit menyediakan kesempatan dan jalan bagi Anda. Terima kasih atas perhatian Anda. Untuk para peserta, kita ketemu jam 1 ya. Mari bangkit dan maju sama-sama. Terima kasih.
Nama saya Irfani Sakina, saya berasal dari Makassar. Ibu dan ayah saya berprofesi sebagai guru fisika. Sejak kecil saya tahu saya ingin menjadi ilmuwan. Karena itu, setelah lulus SMA, saya memilih jurusan teknik geofisika. Dan banyak perempuan yang memilih jurusan ini karena banyaknya aktivitas lapangan yang harus dilakukan. Tapi saya tetap maju karena dukungan dari orang tua dan teman-teman saya. Di jurusan ini, saya mulai belajar tentang pemrograman dan statistika yang ternyata menjadi salah satu mata kuliah yang sangat saya gemari. Setelah lulus, saya langsung mempelajari tentang data, machine learning, dan AI. Akan tetapi setelah selesai saya merasa masih belum siap untuk melamar pekerjaan di bidang data. saya sudah belajar banyak teori, tapi merasa masih perlu banyak praktek. Saat itu saya tahu tentang Bangkit dan tanpa ragu mendaftar. Lalu kemudian diterima dan saya sangat senang. Bangkit membantu saya mempersiapkan diri untuk bekerja di bidang teknologi dan juga melalui sesi-sesi soft skill yang komprehensif. Dalam salah satu sesi soft skill tentang growth mindset, sang mentor memberitahu bahwa kita bisa menjadi siapa saja yang kita inginkan selama kita mau melatih diri. Hal ini membuat saya percaya untuk bisa meraih pekerjaan impian saya. Pada akhir Juni, saya melihat lowongan pekerjaan sebagai data scientist di Jakarta, dan dengan bekal skill dan pengalaman saya di Bangkit, saya beranikan untuk melamar. Pada wawancara kedua, saya pun ditanya mengenai bagaimana cara saya mempelajari statistika dan big data. Jadi saya ceritakan tentang Bangkit, juga bagaimana Bangkit memfasilitasi kami untuk mendapatkan sertifikasi dari TensorFlow dan Coursera. Dan hanya seminggu setelah wawancara yang terakhir, saya dihubungi bahwa saya diterima. Alhamdulillah, sekarang saya sudah hampir bekerja 2 bulan dan saya merasa sangat senang bisa melakukan pekerjaan saya dengan baik dari ilmu-ilmu yang saya peroleh dari Bangkit. Kedepannya, saya ingin melanjutkan pendidikan dan mempelajari bagaimana AI, khususnya machine learning, dapat secara optimal diaplikasikan ke bidang geothermal. Terakhir, saya ingin mengucapkan selamat kepada semua lulusan Bangkit. Saya sangat bangga menjadi bagian dari Bangkit, perjalanan yang tidak mudah tapi kita berhasil melewatinya. Beberapa bulan terakhir mengajarkan saya untuk selalu mengejar realitas di depan mata. Hidup tak pernah menjanjikan perjalanan yang mudah, mungkin ada kalanya kita merasa kosong dan tak pasti, tapi selalu ada harapan untuk terus berjuang.